Hello everyone, this is Caleb Simpson, and you're watching my walkthrough for The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild for Nintendo Wii U and Switch. In the last video I made my way towards Central Tower, and so in this video I'm actually just going to be talking about recommended pins to place on the map, and that's basically what I'm going to be spending the entire video talking about. So the last, 5% of the video I'm actually going to go back to Kakariko Village and upgrade, I'm going to get and upgrade the Champion's Tunic as well as upgrade the pants that we just got, because everybody loves upgrading pants. So, that all being said, that's what this video is going to be about, so you can skip ahead to the next video if you just want to continue on with main storyline stuff. Otherwise, hang out with me, where I'll talk about cool pins you can place on your map here in Central Hyrule. Welcome to Central Hyrule, the place of death and dismemberment. So it's a wonderful place to be, and so it kind of encompasses everything just north of the Great Plateau. Kind of goes around the outskirts stable here, meow, and it goes along the river. It kind of goes behind Crenel Hills, then it actually cuts across the road here, and it goes south along the river once again, and then it actually cuts across right here. This little strip right here is actually part of Dueling Peaks over here to the right, and then meanwhile just south of that is Lake, and then just north of it, there's just this little teeny strip that's considered part of Dueling Peaks, which is a little bit odd. I'm assuming the reason they do that is because you get this tower and they want to make you feel like it's still connected to the Great Plateau, because I think if it was chopped off it would confuse people. You know, so rather than just making Central Hyrule Field go to down to here and then make Lake just go a little bit further north, they have this be part of Dueling Peaks, whatever. Regardless, so anyways, this is Central Hyrule. Yeah, Central Hyrule is scary though. Generally speaking, I'd recommend you kind of avoid doing this area until later in the game, because most of the enemies here can one-shot you. It's just awful. So, but yes, I know a lot of people like to run through here. Generally speaking, I feel like you can just avoid it entirely for the most part, and just, if you're going to get Koroks, whatever, just get them somewhere else for early game anyways. So anyways, though, there's a couple useful things that we want to get right now. I think having this vision of this is super cool early on, but I wanted to grab this in particular just to give you options. So, things worth pinning in Central Hyrule. I think one of the most important things early on is that there is a free Great Flame Blade here at the Ancient Tree Stump. A lot of people know about this one online, so you go to the Central Tower, just warp here, and then just paraglide over. Now, if you're worried about all of the Decayed Guardians and the Guardian Stalkers here, there's one here, there's another, in fact, there's even another Decayed Guardian up here, but all of them could turn and attack you, which is kind of scary. You can just kind of weave back and forth. If you're worried about it, you just wait for the sound. It's like, pew! And what you do is just press B to duck down, and you'll drop, and then just deploy your paraglider again. So by repeatedly just, falling down over and over again and sailing forward, you can easily avoid their lasers. It's not a big deal. But anyways, just paraglide over to this ledge, then run across the hill. There's several enemies here, a Moblin and some Bokoblins, whatever. We can literally just sprint right past them. It doesn't matter. I think a couple of them have bows, so the only thing that you're worried about is getting shot with arrows, which honestly doesn't hurt that much. You can just eat apples through it. Doesn't matter. So just run here, grab the Great Flame Blade, warp away. Not a big deal. And you can get that every Blood Moon. This is not on an enemy. This is just sitting on the ground. Very easy to get. So that's the easiest Great Flame Blade in the game. There's a couple others. I don't really feel like they're worth pointing out, though, but this is the easiest one by far. So other things worth pinning. This is the location of a rare Talus. Now, there's several rare Talus in the game, but some of them are easier to get than others. This one's pretty easy. Just be warned that there is a Guardian Skywatcher here. It shouldn't see you unless you go over to this far right side. But anyways, there's a shrine right here that's both easy to unlock, easy to complete, and it's very close to this rare Talus, so it's a pretty easy one to get. Rare Talus, again, will give you 1 to 2 rare diamonds, and they'll also give you some rubies and sapphires, and then they'll give you a couple sapphire and a bunch of amber. But generally speaking, they give you higher tier gems than other Talus in the game. They do also have a little bit more health, so just be warned of that, but pretty easy to get a bunch of great materials because of that, though. So, lots of money, lots of free materials that you can get to upgrade armor. Next, this is the best location in the game to get a Flame Spear. So you can warp to the Mount Crenel Shrine over here, the Namaka Oz, and then just sail over here. And this guy has a Flame Spear every time, so just kill the Stalnox at night, you'll get a Flame Spear. Great. Flame Spear, in my opinion, of the fire category, is the best weapon of fire weapons. So of the Flame Blade, Great Flame Blade, Flame Spear, and Fire Rod and Meteor Rod, I think that the Flame Spear is the best weapon. And the reason for that is because it has really far range, it has really fast attack speed, so you can do a running dash attack, like hold down B and then just press Y at the last second to stab forward, and before an enemy can even react. And you can kill them instantly for frost enemies. So you're going in Hebra or whatever, you can kill, it gives you heat, so you have extra chill resistance just from that, and it also kills enemies instantly. It's just great. So if you can get several Flame Spears before you start hunting in Hebra, it can make it way easier. And so yeah, fastest thing. You can easily take out enemies before they can even react. It's just awesome. So anyways, Flame Spear is the best one in that category, in my opinion. Something you can do, by the way, is you can totally... The problem is Style Knocks only appear once every Blood Moon, so something you can do is you can collect them before you... Like, if you're making a plan to do a whole bunch of Hebra stuff, and, like, all the Gerudo stuff, and all the Mount Lanayru stuff, something you can do is you can collect several Flame Spears over time. One of the easiest ways to do that, actually, is go ahead and defeat them, and then place the weapon on the wall in your house in Hatino. You know? So just use that to store them temporarily, and you go back to just doing whatever you're doing. You just have one flame weapon on you. But then you just store up spears for a while, and then when you're ready to go start doing this, you just go to your house, drop some other weapons you don't care about on the ground, like some royal broadswords or whatever, and then just pick up a whole bunch of spears all at once, and then you're ready to go with like 3 or 4 flame spears, and you just demolish this whole area, and it's great. So anyways, just a quick food for thought for you. So Namaka Oz. Namaka Oz is the best place, and Krenel Hills is the best place to get elemental weapons, just generally speaking, for rods in particular. This area is filled with elemental enemies like elemental chews and also Wizrobes. So there's Wizrobes of each of the 3 elements. So this is a great versatile place to go to for whatever elemental weapons you need, just in general. It doesn't have a lot of melee weapons, although there is the Flame Spear right here, obviously. So the outer cylinders have lower tier ones, like this one's a Frost Rod or whatever it's called, Freezing Rod. And then there's a Flame or a Fire Rod right here, the lower tier ones. But these ones right next to the shrine are all the higher tier ones. So this one's a Blizzard Rod. I don't remember which one of these is which. One of these is a Meteor Rod, the other one is a Thunder Spear Rod, and each one of them has the related elemental chew. So anyways, but the one we really care about is the Blizzard Rod in particular. Blizzard Rod is, by the way, so these higher tier ones, Blizzard, Thunderstorm, and Meteor Rod do something crazy. Like they do like 6 times the damage of the regular rods if you use them right. So they can actually do an insane amount of damage. Actually, all 3 of these can be pretty gross in the right hands if you know how to use them. So they're way better, and their tooltip it totally lies. So because it just lists the physical damage, nobody's actually smacking enemies right in their face with these rods. They're shooting them from a distance. So the elemental effect is not included in the tooltip, just so you know. But anyways, Blizzard Rod, when enemies are frozen, they take 3 times damage from your next attack. So you use a Blizzard Rod, switch to a 2-hander, and you can just destroy them. You can easily hit them for something like 260 damage if you, with buffs and stuff, if you do it right. You can easily hit them really, really hard, even pretty early game, honestly. So this is a great way to take care of a bunch of hard-hitting enemies, which is great. Alright, so before we move on from Central Hyrule, there is one more pin to talk about, which is, of course, the infamous Coliseum Ruins. Oh, yeah! So Coliseum Ruins is pretty much unanimously agreed to be the best place in the entire game to get elemental weapons. So if you're looking for an elemental weapon, this is the place to go. And it's kind of like everybody online knows about it. Like, seriously, everybody talks about it. Anytime anybody asks anything about elemental, where can I find an elemental weapon? Or, I'm trying to find one of these. Where can I get one? And everyone's like, have you even heard of Coliseum Ruins? Coliseum Ruins is awesome. I love Coliseum Ruins. Have you even heard of Coliseum Ruins? Coliseum Ruins is the bomb, man. Have you ever been to Coliseum Ruins? You should really go to Coliseum Ruins. And it's like, I don't know, it's like a meme in and of itself. It's like everybody says it, everybody. So I both wholeheartedly agree and wholeheartedly disagree, because the thing that people don't realize about Coliseum Ruins is that stuff in Breath of the Wild scales. So there is good weapons here, but only at the very end of the game. Until then, there are no elemental weapons here at all. And then this is the part where a lot of you are like, what? What are you talking about? So here's the deal. You don't really notice this because you're playing through the game so much, or like you're not returning to previous areas. You don't really see this very much, I guess, or you don't notice it because you're playing Breath of the Wild, you're exploring, so you might not realize this, but enemies in Breath of the Wild scale, they upgrade as you complete more of the game to like match your power level. So the enemies get harder, but also you're finding higher tier equipment to make you feel cool. So anyways, they start off like low tier. You could have like red bokoblins, and then they turn into blue bokoblins, and they turn into black ones, and then white ones, or gold ones, or whatever, if you're playing in master mode, etc. But the enemies get harder. Sometimes it's just like they'll be red for a couple divine beasts, and then after you complete several, now they steadily upgraded to blue. So it's not like an upgrade every single time. Sometimes it's like spread out a little bit. Or they don't upgrade, you know what I mean? They have fewer total upgrades, but they do it. Anyways, so some enemies and weapons and items and stuff that are scattered throughout the world will upgrade with, and chests too, by the way. You might have noticed this with chests. Like, as you get further in the game, you're like, man, like the stuff in chests is getting more and more awesome. And that's actually based off of the stuff. So that's why, like, regardless of which shrines you're unlocking in the game, the loot you're getting will get better, and that's because it's based... So, you know what I mean? The order of events of when you do stuff doesn't really matter, because the shrines will get more awesome as you're progressing through the game. So, the tier of weapons, so whether it goes from Traveler all the way up to, like, Royal Weapons, whatever, is based off the Divine Beasts you've completed. So, 0 Divine Beasts completed all the way up to 4 Divine Beasts completed will equal the quality of the weapon... Or, yeah, not the quality, the tier of weapon that it is, so it goes up to a higher quality in that sense. But the quality of the weapon affixes, so like the bonuses on them, like far throw or durability or crit plus or whatever, all those kind of bonuses are based off of the shrines you completed. I'm pretty sure is how that works. It might be some kind of complicated formula of the combination of those things, but regardless, yeah, there you go. That's how that works. So, Coliseum Ruins has Traveler weapons at 0 Divine Beast, then it upgrades to, and with 1 Divine Beast, it's Soldier Gear, then it goes to Knight, then Royal, and then finally Elemental. So that's how that works. So it's all garbage stuff until the last tier, then it starts getting awesome. And how this works is so yeah, that all being said, this is an awesome place to go, but please, please, please do me a favor. If you're going to recommend it to somebody, then at least tell them that it's only at the end of the game. Because what I see, the reason I find it annoying is because what I see is I'll see people saying something like, hey, I want to like kill stuff in Hebra and I want to one-shot it and stuff, so I need a fire weapon. Where can I find something? I don't even know where to go. Or they'll be like, hey, I want to go to Death Mountain. There's all these fire-breathing enemies and they're kind of scaring me. Like, where can I find a frost weapon so I can one-shot them? And people will be like, oh, you should go to Coliseum Ruins. It's the best place in the game. The problem with that is that, guess what? The whole reason they're going to Eldin is to explore for the first time, and then they're going to go to the Divine Beast and kill it. But, you know, so they need a frost weapon to do this, and the recommendation people are getting is Coliseum Ruins, but there's no frost weapons here until after they've completed the Divine Beast, which is why they needed a frost weapon in the first place. Like, do you see my dilemma here? Like, the guide writer in me is pained, and I see this all the time. So please, 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 if you're going to recommend Coliseum Ruins, at least tell people it's only at the end of the game. There you go. So that's why I keep recommending all these other pins, by the way. I keep saying, oh, you can find a flame spear here. The reason I'm saying stuff like that is because you can't get it here yet. So anyways, that's how this works. Okay, I'm done ranting about that. Actually, real quick, let me give a quick example of that, of the scaling, just to help you wrap your mind around it. A good example of that is Hinox. Not all Hinox do this. Here's a great one, though, as a good example. That is here in Heron Lake. Place a pin here once you have access to this. This is an awesome one. So you go to Farron Tower, sail over here, and just land on this Hinox's chest. It's still asleep, and you just grab the stuff off his chest and warp away. You're just done. Dunzo. It's just great. So this guy has 3 items on his neck, and one of them scales with the Divine Beasts, and the other 2 are static, and they're always the same. Those are a Royal Bow and a Royal Broadsword, which you can get at the very beginning of the game. So you could just be like, nope on out of the Great Plateau and just like sneak on over here and like get access to this tower, and you're like, guess what? Royal Broadsword and Royal Bows for days, man. It reappears every blood moon. It's awesome. So that's great. And you have like epic, yeah, you have really good weapons at the very beginning. You haven't done anything. Like, you have nothing. And you're like, yeah, it's awesome. So, but meanwhile, the last item is a spear. And I believe off the top of my head, I think it's Traveler, Soldier, Knight. Halberd at the end. So, you know, 0, the first one, Traveler, is just for 0 Divine Beasts completed like that. But yeah, and then there's 2 levels of 2 different weapon types, I guess. But so that's a weapon that scales with the Divine Beast you've completed, but the other 2 weapons are always the same. So anyways, a lot of stuff in this game is like that. So, okay, I'm done ranting. So to explain what these are, Coliseum Ruins is in 3 tiers. So ideally what you do is you go to Rota O, and you climb up here or whatever, and then hop over the edge. Whoop, and then here you are up here. Now, there is 3 tiers of, like, balconies or whatever you want to call it, these little areas. And then there's finally the ground floor. The ground floor has a Lionel, but these 3 floors that are above that have different weapons. So the top tier, and how it works too, by the way, is it's a spear, a one-hander, and 2-hander, or wherever they are. So on this level, there will be a spear, a one-hander, and a shield, and a 2-hander of each element type. So you'll have Shock as top floor, then it's Frost second floor, and Fire third floor, I think, off the top of my head, as the order, something like that. Regardless, one thing to know is that whoever has the sword also has a shield. And at the end of the game, at the end of the game, when they have elemental weapons, it will always be a royal shield. This is the best place in the game by far to get royal shields, because there's 3 of them here. There's 1 for each one-handed wielded dude down here, which is awesome. So that's all great. And same thing with the Lionel. This guy scales with the game too. It starts off as a red Lionel, whatever, and it's like a white one or whatever by the end of the game, or it's a gold one in the master mode, whatever, something like that, or silver, whatever it is. It's a beefy one. So this is a great place too to you can also to get them. What I recommend you do is use a shock weapon and zap them out of their hands, or you can use campfire here and sneak around with the stealth outfit and just sneak strike them and kill them all that way. Which is great. It's super awesome. No style enemies will appear here at night, so because it's all on stone. So it's great. You can just sneak through here, grab everything you want, or you can pick and choose. It's wonderful, and then it reappears every blood moon, which is awesome. So yeah, that's Coliseum Ruins. Super awesome place. Really good. I do think it's one of the better places in the game, but yeah, I do think that some of the other options are a little more stable and reliable. In particular, the Stalnox. Just so you know, there are 10 Stalnox. One of them is in Hyrule Castle. Oh, by the way, I'll finish that thought. So Stalnox there's 10 of them in the game. One of them is in Hyrule Castle with the Hylian shield. Meanwhile, the other 9, each one of them has a different elemental weapon. So this one's a flame spear, for example. This one's a frost spear. This one, which I don't even have marked right here, is a great flame blade, but that one's not worth it because you can just get a great flame blade right here that I was talking about earlier. It's just better. So, yeah, that's awesome. Quick comment. So Hyrule Castle doesn't really have royal shields. You would think they would. That sounds like the place you'd find them, right? But they more so have ancient royal shields. There's a few different enemies, especially Lizalfos, that have those. But otherwise, they just have like the Lizalfos shields, the spiked ones, whatever those are called, spiked Lizal shields. They have like those and stuff. And the enemies here are static, by the way. So these ones don't upgrade with the game. But they're like always hard, I guess is a better way to say that. But yeah, there's no like royal shields here. There's only like 1 or 2, or if any. But they mostly have ancient royal shields, and they have like knight shields is what you see here a lot. So there's not really a lot of places where you can find royal shields. So I almost like, I mean, yeah, you can, this is also good. You know, you could have that pin instead as well. But yeah, so royal shields, awesome. You can get 3 of them there, otherwise 1 of each of the other elemental weapons. But there you go. There's Coliseum Ruins. I hope you enjoyed.
This concludes the public service announcement for Coliseum Ruins. For more information, tune into your local Zelda Dungeon Wiki, links found in the description, for the best farming locations for any weapon or material you are searching for. Be advised, if the info you are looking for is not found, please consider adding any additions you may have to help future players. Please game responsibly.
All right, I know I've had like lots of map ranty time, but I have one more quick thing to show. This is a map that I made for my own sake as I was doing the walkthrough. I prettied it up a little bit, just thinking I might share it somewhere. I don't know. I'm undecided if I want to do it. If you guys really want it, just bug me about it in the comments, and maybe I'll try and get ZD to post it somewhere. But regardless, this is something that I made to help me wrap my mind around where to go in the walkthrough, because I was having a real heck of a time. The problem is, like, the Zelda Dungeon interactive map is cool, like it's great, you can find stuff, but the problem is, like, a lot of that stuff you're not sure. You can go to their specific wiki pages and then like open it up and figure out where that specific armor piece is, but otherwise it's kind of hard to like here's Tingle's Hood, for example, but you have to like figure out exactly which chest it is, and you're like, all right, and then you're like, okay, then you zoom out and it disappears. You're like, oh no. But you can turn on this, but then when you back up, it's like kind of hard to tell. You're like, okay, there's Majora's Mask, like I know, this is in my way. Okay, do that, it's right there. There's the thing. And then you're like not sure, like, and then you look away and you look back and you're like, wait, where was it again? Was it this one? Yeah, okay. You can kind of hover over it, but it only doesn't work for the stuff underneath very well. Oh, so there's Tingles. Anyways, so I was having a hard time just wrapping my mind around it for this walkthrough. So this is a map that I made in Photoshop, and it has all of the armor and DLC items in the game. So it has like, it's like the stuff that, like here, he's got the ancient bridle that we got on top of the Mount Satori, for example. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about Hyrule Field for a little bit, because there's so many DLC items in Hyrule Field. Again, this is only applicable if you have the DLC. If you purchase the DLC, you can get these real quick. These are some pretty cool items. However, all of these things are going to be obsolete if you're following along with me very shortly. So you can go out of your way right now, because we're in Hyrule Field, to get all these things. I'm not going to talk about it right now. I just wanted to bring it up real quick just to mention the option. I will put a link in the description to later on in the walkthrough when I'm doing all this stuff. I am going to get them just for 100% completion idea. I'm not 100% as far as Koroks, but as far as gear, I'm going to be getting everything, showing you how to do all that stuff. I'll have a link in the description. You can follow me along for that video. Otherwise, just continue following along right now. My recommendation is to not get them right now. And I'll explain more what I mean about that later. But basically, the Tingles outfit is going to be replaced with the stealth outfit very shortly here, actually, because the night speed bonus is on the stealth outfit as well. The damage bonus from these guys we're going to get from cooking mighty porgies very quickly. The royal outfit, we're going to be getting the Zora outfit, and the by the way, the royal guard uniform is pretty cool, because what it does is it reduces the stamina cost of not just spin attacks. That's what everybody knows about. I need to update my title here, but it doesn't do just that. It also reduces the the stamina cost of climbing and swimming as well. When you use the active jump or dodge or whatever you want to, the dash. When you use the dash move for that, it costs stamina, a big chunk of it. This will reduce the stamina cost of that as well. So the Royal Guard uniform is a pretty versatile set, but it is in Hyrule Castle. It's scary to get there. If you want to go there, I highly recommend you use a Blizzard Rod, and Midna's helmet is garbage. But I'll talk more about that later. Anyways, you can do all these things in Central Hyrule if you want to. I'm not going to talk about it right now. What I want to do real quick for you is I will just kind of zoom in on all these guys so you can see them a little bit better, so you can see their exact locations. You can pause the video and see exactly where they are. So Hyrule Garrison Ruins, Exchange Ruins, Mabe Village Ruins. I have the armor piece exactly on where they are on the map. And then here's the last ones. Now, just a quick comment about these. These are all inside. This one is in the tower at the top. These ones are underground. They're not above ground. So they're like, you have to go inside, like especially from the back or something like that, and then follow the inner areas of Hyrule Castle to get to these. So I'm not going to talk about these right now. This is definitely the most complicated, hardest one to find. I'd recommend you follow the video for that in particular. The rest of these are all pretty straightforward. But yes, if you have the DLC, you want to get these things now, you totally can. Of these all, I feel like the most useful ones are definitely the Phantom Armor, and the Royal Guard uniform is kind of cool, especially for climbing. This is actually an alternative to the climbing set early game. But again, only if you have DLC. I'm going to be like outmaneuvering these like very shortly. These will become obsolete in just a little bit. In just a couple videos, we will not need any of these, and we'll sell them all. So, in the last several videos, we got the climbing boots. We talked with Impa and Kakariko, then we went to Pura in Hatino, then we went back to Impa, who unlocked the ability to get memories. So after you get your first memory, wherever that is in the game, doesn't matter. So I got one of the easiest ones we could get real quick, which was just north of the Great Plateau, and there's links in the description for the memories and stuff like that, or you can refer to a couple videos back to see how I did that. Regardless, return to Impa and speak with her, and after you have collected your first memory, she will then give you one of the best tunics in the game, which is the Champion's Tunic. This has a very high armor value, so it's very nice, and you can upgrade it right away, actually. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick before we continue on, so we have a lot of armor before we start tackling, going further in Hyrule. So next we're heading to the Great Fairy to upgrade some of our gear, because we got the climbing boots in the last couple videos, and we also got the Champion's Tunic just now. So, by the way, at all of the Great Fairy fountains there are Endura Carrots, which are very valuable, and there's also Silent Princess. Silent Princess is a stealth ingredient that makes some pretty nice stealth food that gives you the level 3 stealth buff. However, you can also use it to upgrade various pieces of gear, such as the Champion's Tunic. The first upgrade just costs 3 Silent Princess, that's all it costs, which is actually super cheap considering that they're so common around the Great Fairy Fountain. So in fact, there's some just to the right of this fairy fountain. I did glance back and forth. I had already collected them this particular Blood Moon cycle, so I didn't show it in this particular video. But if you need them, just go ahead and grab them. They're just to the right of the fountain. Super easy to see. They're these white flowers, but very easy to get. So go ahead and upgrade the Champion's Tunic. This particular armor piece gives you 8 armor right now at tier 1, which is really nice, actually. That is our highest armor value armor piece that we have available to us right now, which is very nice. Each point of armor, by the way, reduces incoming damage by a quarter heart. So the Champion's Tunic will reduce all incoming physical damage anyways by 2 whole hearts, which is kind of crazy, actually. That's a pretty big boost for this point in the game, so that's very nice. And it'll be very handy for the stuff we're going to be doing for the next several videos, as you will quickly find out. So slap on your highest armor pieces and then join me back in Hatino, where we're going to hop back on our horse and continue on exploring Hyrule. Now, if you did not take your horse with you, then ideally it's still in Hatino. If you did take it with you like I did, which I kind of regret now, and you went it with me with the horse to go to get the memory, then instead just warp to the Dueling Peak stable so we can summon our horse there instead, and then we'll continue on from there. But yeah, as always, a huge thanks goes out to all of my Patreon supporters for helping to make this possible. And if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, be sure to throw a like on it, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content just like this. Remember to stay awesome, you have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.